Hi everybody. In this series we going to build a Yamaha Yt125. Originally it's a 9081 with the 4-speed and the low gear, but we're gonna make the conversion for a 5-speed transmission from Yt125 82. So the transmission is the same in 82 with the 125 and the 175, and I'm using the 125 bottom from 81. So you can use your 81 cases to do this conversion. So if you want to start with your 81 and you find later a donor, etc., these cases are in pristine condition. I mean, no thread are fucked. There's nothing broken, resurface everything, so everything's going to be perfect, no leaks. New bearing, new piston, crank rebuild, no expense spared. All you gotta know to do this, you need a complete donor, and I mean these are hard to find parts to make it like a build like this, like I'ma do. You need to do your research, you need to find parts, because there's a lot of things that you gotta understand before disassemble or doing your disassembly. I mean, there's a couple of difference. If you look right there, the 81 and the 82, just the clutch cover is a little different, and you can swap part, but there's things that don't swap, so you gotta pay attention, look for part number and Partzilla, and follow the manual. But my video is going to help a lot, so I hope y'all enjoyed this. And yeah, if I can start with the cases, I already did the oil injection delete, put some plug in there, and yeah, we're keeping it at 125, but I have a 175 top end coming after that. We're gonna build some power with it, so stay tuned. Hi everybody. So in this short episode, I'm going to show you how to prep your case. I'm going to talk to about the bearing, and after that we're going to be ready to slam the bearing in the next episode. You gotta remember, guys, those are 40 years old cases, so before disassembly or assembly, inspect everything, all the threads, all the bolts that you're gonna get out of there. They need to be perfect for the rebuild. I already done all this stuff. The case are good. I also rebuild all the surface area. I have a quartz countertop in my kitchen, and I use 400 grits, tape this on the countertop, and I just surface everywhere there's gasket area. Also, for this build, we delete the pump, the oil pump, and the oil injection. Made a plate with a gasket, bolted there. I also threaded the distribution line and the cable. Those are M12 1.25 and M10 1.25. Put some cold plug in there with Yamaha bound or thread locked, so we can delete all the oil distribution system. Bearing, like I said, brand new bearing. Those are crank bearing and seal kit from Pro X. I have all the bearing. Those are transmission bearing. This one come with the circlip. and I have all the transmission needle bearing too. So that's what you need for a full bottom end rebuild. I also have the dampers. You need to put them in before you close the case. That's where your cases are bolted to the frame. So I changed them. I also have the pressure plate bearing right there. I'm going to show it later, and the bolt kit if you want to order it for the case. Better than the Philips or the Japanese industrial design. I kept all my bearing from the previous case to slap the other bearing, so always a good idea to keep everything. And I have my old cases for the depth and O-ring orientation, so guys, don't worry, I'ma cover all this. So next episode, we slap the bearing in, make sure to put them in the freezer beforehand, and have a source or something that can produce heat, this or heat gun. I'm gonna heat the case and put the cold bearing in, and we're gonna be ready to build this. So to the next. Alright everybody, so we're gonna slap bearing in. Took a trash bearing. This one's is for the basket bearing, so it got a metal seal, and you need a punch. Put that shit on, and you have to count. But beforehand, you have your bearing, and you need to heat everything. There's going to be water because I'm in the cold right now. I'm sitting at 8 degrees right now in my shop. So there's going to be condensation. Make sure to eat more than just the bearing area. You can eat a little more. Also propane, there's no problem, it's not hot enough. You can take the yellow bottle. Propane will do just fine. Even the heat gun at a certain point, it's okay. Smell wood. Make sure you have a setup like this to sit your case well. It makes probably a minute now. I'm eating this. Should fall right up. Maybe a little encouragement. Sure everything is clean, blow it. There's something in there. Okay. It's not. And put on top of the case. Take a bearing. This one I have a store clip. Goes up top. Voila. Turn tighten it. I'm gonna put the circlip down here because there's a retainer. Voila, I can turn it right now. It's stuck in there. Can make a little punch out of it just to make sure everything sits well. That's it. Voila, there's one bearing in. Alright, next bearing, this one. You have to pay attention because there's another one that is pretty similar. So we're going to eat that. Don't put the flame directly on the other bearing. And if you can see, there's a gauge depth right there. I'm gonna take my other cases. There's a gauge depth right here. You can see it. It doesn't do the full circle, so that's where you gotta put the bearing. That's the depth. Actually, it's a little deeper. Make sure it's straight. Punch. Alright, I got this bearing was super tight, so but I got it. Just punch harder. If you know me, you know I always punch harder. That's it. Like I said, this one there's a little lip right there. If you can see, there's a little lip. So you gotta make sure that the bearing is lower than this by a couple thou. So maybe I don't know if your nail catch is perfect. It needs to be a little more than a nail catch. So even this one, it's a little too tight. I'm gonna give it a little punch more. Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Good. Now, alright, after that, we need the plate on the bearing that have the bearing that need that have the circlip. Always put a little Loctite on this. Voila. And the other one. Don't need much. Crusted those. Voila. Take your time, boys. You don't want to cross thread anything. Step by step. Back, eh? Don't strip them Phillips with a lot of torques. So the return clip is good. So being on this side, as you can see, we are now doing the main bearing, crank bearing. I already preheat the cases. Heat them good. And make sure when you put it you are square and that everything is straight. Make sure you have a well-seated case too, and cold bearing works best. Bearing. Alright, so I'll punch it a little harder. Bearing should be flat, 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 flat. Needs a little punch more. I'm using old bearing to tap them. Be sure you straight. And now we are flush. All the bearing on this sides are done. Alright y'all, while I'm eating this, we're gonna talk about how we position, how we put this bearing. It's transmission bearing, needle bearing. It's this one. So you gotta make sure this one is perfectly centered. I have my other case right here. If you look closely, the bearing need to go in from the right side, from the clutch side, and it needs to be centered so there's oil going in. So if you see there's like a little taper or a little notch up there, so the oil can go in, and on the other side too. On this side, clutch side, it's perfectly flush with the case, and on this side it's a little inside, flush with the notch right there, so the oil can go in the bearing. So like I said, you have to put the bearing from this side. Right here. Voila. I'm gonna take another bearing just to make sure it's flat. Voila. So perfect. Next. Alright, for the next bearing, it's the clutch basket shaft bearing, so main shaft. Originally, they come with a metal seal, but for the EOM gasket, no metal sleeve, and it's open on one side, so there's oil feeding in while it runs. So you gotta remove the seal from the OEM one. How to remove a seal? Simple. Small flat screwdriver. You put it against the inner brace and you flip it. Voila. And now ready to put in on this side, so it's get oil from the inside. Alright, so it's been a couple minutes. I'm heating the case. We're ready to put the transmission shaft bearing. Like I said before, you have to put the open side inside. Oh my god, it's gonna be hot. Right in. Voila. You're gonna give it a little love tap with the old bearing. This one I have a stopper on the other side, so no worry. Voila. And now we're going to do this bearing. Alright, so now don't be dumb like me. I put the transmission shaft bearing first, but there's a seal, and now I'm eating the other bearing, so it's not good. Preferably put this bearing last, since there's a seal. It's not too bad now because I'm aiming the other side and the case is already hot, so I don't have to put a lot of flame or heat. So this bearing is a little needle bearing. There's a stopper, so you just drive this right through. Alright, this is the last bearing, right side crank bearing. Also, I have the number for Koyo bearing if you want to buy them cheap on the low. When I'm gonna put the seals on, I'm gonna give you all the seals, the dimension or seal size, so and bearing. Gave them all to you and parts number, but I'm gonna give you the seal specs so you can just go at your local farm shop or tractor supply, get the right bearing, or just do a simple order online from Koyo or whatever, and you'll have the right bearing. So now I'm heating this, putting the new bearing in, yeah. should be a wrap, and we'll see you next time. We'll build the transmission in this. So hope y'all enjoyed that for the first section of this video. So yeah, bearing falls right in. You really have to take like a good 3, 4, 5 minutes to eat everything. It's the best way. Under 3 minutes or under 2 minutes, it's garbage. Over 3, it just falls right in. Look at that. Make sure you try to turn it when you put it in, so if it's not when the bearing is cold and the case is hot, sometimes you have a couple times to do some to turn it. It's better to turn it. Mine just fits just slightly tight, so I cannot turn it. Make sure it's seated well. I like to put just an extra shot on it, nothing too crazy. Voila, now we are sure it's ready. So both cases are done. Now it's going to take some time before I build the transmission.